are risking their lives to do one thing, to feed the people of Gaza. And I would also add that many of the local Gazan workers have to stay on site. They live on site because Hamas has put bounties on them and their families. So these people are literally risking their lives to feed people. And again, we've done so successfully and without any casualties on our sites.
As you know, we had a GHF whistleblower, Tony Aguilar, on Uncensored last week. Here's what he said.
To put civilians at risk and not safeguard their travel and their movement to areas to receive aid, whether it be water, clothing, medicine, is a war crime.
What is your response to that?
Well, Mr. Aguilar is a proven liar, Piers, and any media outlet that amplifies his lies, which I'll get into, should issue public retractions. Mr. Aguilar was fired for cause after being reassigned multiple times because he could not hack the job and he was making the situation on the ground more dangerous and being distracting for his colleagues, who are still out there, by the way, risking their lives to feed people. After he was fired, he continued to text his colleagues things like talking about how important the mission was, how successful the mission was, begging for his job back. He then applied for his job back officially, and then he started threatening. He texted many of his former colleagues and supervisors saying, I can be your best friend or I can be your worst enemy. And then he made good on those threats. If you go to GHF.org, you can see affidavits from his former colleagues who are still out there putting their lives on the line, feeding people, about how almost everything he said is false. And the last I will say is the Daily Wire just published an investigative piece this morning which proves that his most sensational claim is false. It's just not true. The things are not happening the way he says they are. I have been there, Piers. You cannot see the crowd from outside the sites, even when you're on top of it. You cannot see the IDF. You cannot see what he claims to have seen, and he didn't. He's putting the entire mission at jeopardy. While he's looking for his 15 minutes of fame, his former colleagues are risking their lives, along with local Palestinian workers and humanitarians, to feed the people of Gaza. That's our only mission. We've done it safely and securely, despite what Mr. Aguilar claims to have seen, which is false. These are honorable men and women, just like I told you, who put their lives on the line and do not use lethal force. They simply do not use lethal force for crowd control. There have been no casualties. And the men and women who are putting their lives on the line to feed the people of Gaza should be commended for their efforts. Now, Piers, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is pretty in this situation. We've already talked about how this is an active war zone and a very complex humanitarian crisis, and sometimes it's not pretty. But our model is working. And I would also recommend that anyone who is advocating for less aid, which is what you're advocating when you advocate to shut down GHF, anyone who is advocating for less aid into the people, into Gaza, should be met with extreme skepticism. Pierce, we have to stop pretending like there's only one way to feed people in Gaza. GHF is happy that more aid is going in. We're happy that there's airdrops. We're happy that the UN is starting to move its trucks after sitting on the sidelines and claiming starvation while their aid was rotting in the sun. I've seen it. I was there. Medical aid already expired. But we are concerned about the dangerousness of their convoys. You can see it all over social media this week. Their convoys are getting immediately attacked by tens of thousands of hungry, desperate people, sometimes armed. You see them riding around with armed men on top of it. And as Ambassador Huckabee pointed out, the UN's own estimates say that only 6.5% of the aid in July got to where it's supposed to go. That's 93% being diverted, Piers. That's an A in getting your aid diverted. We have had zero aid diverted. We have put 117 million meals directly into the people who need it the most.
Just finally, how many of the 1,373 Palestinians who have been killed while joining these lines for food do you believe were killed by the IDF?
So again, these numbers can't be verified. We can't verify who has killed anyone or that the numbers are accurate. The Gaza Ministry of Health puts out these numbers, and lots of times they're inflated. Lots of times they're just false. They don't distinguish between combatants and civilians. You and the ambassador had that debate over, how to verify these. We believe every casualty is regrettable and tragic. We are in favor of a ceasefire. Our job Our only job is to feed the people of Gaza. And anyone who makes that, or any group who makes that more difficult, we call them out. We have been particularly hard on the IDF and the government of Israel when they make that job harder or more dangerous for the aid seekers in particular. So until the full need is met, peers, our people, men and women, alongside the local Palestinian workers, are going to keep feeding the people of Gaza until the full need is met. And we welcome the UN to join us and work with us. We have an open invitation to collaborate. And just another story I'll tell you, I have spoken inside Gaza to international aid truck drivers other than ours by the UN. And they told us a story about how the day before they tried to drive their trucks further into Gaza and they were immediately shot at. They were worried for their lives. They were worried they were going to get kidnapped. The aid was immediately taken from them. They said they were lucky to be alive. And then they asked us, because I was there with our security personnel, they looked at us and said, can you provide security for us? And we said, of course we can. Our model is working. We can, of course, work together. There's many ways to do that. We just had a press conference with our executive director who laid out many ways we could collaborate with the UN. Gaza Humanitarian Foundation has one mission: to feed people, and we want to see more of it done by more organizations, and we are willing to collaborate and get it done successfully until the full need is met.
Appreciate it.